What if the Scolipede evolutionary line had a regional form? And what would it look like? Well, now you don't have to think, as I made my own. And yes, of course, I changed its stats and gave it a new ability and a new typing, as that is the baseline for any regional form. I try to keep the stats and the abilities and the typing balanced, but if I didn't, I apologize. I play competitive, but sometimes, I might not think of a certain situation. So tell me in the comments if there's anything wrong. Let's get into the Venipede regional form. So the typing I chose to go with for the line was Bug Ice, as I know there's only one other Pokemon and that's Frostmoth with that typing, but Frostmoth is a special attacker, so I decided to keep Scolipede as a physical attacker to have two separate versions for the typing. So you can either choose Frostmoth for special or Scolipede for physical. And because I was thinking of Snowflake, I try to use its sort of antennas as an inspiration, as normal Venipede's antennas go straight up in like a spike. And while this one would be living in the cold, so it would be using its antennas near the ground more than it would be pointed up. And that's kind of the same reason why I gave it a shovel-like tail to dig out snow, because since it is a bug, it's gonna hibernate to go through a cocoon-like process, which will be Whirlipede, obviously. So it would need somewhere to hide in the snow, and snow doesn't really have like a lot of places to hide inherently, so it would use its tail to dig like a little den in the snow to hibernate so it can evolve into Whirlipede, and anything it needs to get out the way, it could use its tail as like a shovel or to throw stuff, which is kind of why I gave it a tail like shovel instead of just the two little tails it normally had. And for its color scheme, I chose blue, white, and black with different shades of blue because, fur is gonna be white as well, because I gave it fur like a little mite because it's gonna be really cold, so the fur will keep it warm. And its fur is also what I give its ability. I gave it Thick Fat as its new ability, at least as a non-hidden ability. Because since it has fur and it's living in the cold, it's gonna wanna stay a lot warmer than the average Venipede. So it's gonna help. It's also gonna help with its resistance. So now it's only gonna be 2 times weak to fire instead of 4 times weak to fire, which is huge. Now it could actually tank maybe 1 hit from a fire move, which was kind of the point of Thick Fat. And just extra ice resistance isn't bad. It's basically not gonna ever die from an ice move thanks to it. So let's get to the final sheet where I show the abilities and the stats all at once. So this is Venipede, Deep Snow form. I gave it the ability Thick Fat because it would be leaving in the snow and it would help its weakness to fire, because it would normally be 4 times weak, but now it would just be 2 times weak if I remember how Thick Fat works. And for the hidden ability, I'll keep it the same as normal Scolipede line, the Speed Boost ability, because it's also really good. So they're both really good abilities depending on what you want to do. And for the base stats, I took out 10 defense from regular Venipede and gave it to its HP stat, and then I took out 10 speed and put it in its special defense stat. Nothing too crazy, no adding points because I want this to be as vanilla as possible. Let's move on to Whirlipede. I already knew I was going to have trouble with Whirlipede, so I was thinking of designing him after a snow tire because he would be in the snow. But I knew it was going to be hard because I didn't want to change any of the designs drastically to the point where you couldn't recognize it was a Whirlipede. So I had to it was weird. I don't know how to explain it. I don't like drawing Whirlipede. If anything, I wish I could change Whirlipede to a different Pokemon for the middle evolution, because it just feels so weird. It goes from bug, wheel, back to the bug. I don't exactly know why it's like that, but I try to give it ice as a little treads, as the ice would focus on like chains on like in real life wheels. So it would be like the chains that allow it to move over ice easily. And of course it would keep its little picks, but I would just make them bigger and give them more, as it allowed it to also grip onto the snow a lot easier to go really fast. And that was kind of my whole idea for Whirlipede, because I didn't really know what to do with Whirlipede, to be honest. I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to change the design too much where you can't tell it's a Whirlipede. So it kind of stumped me for a bit. Do any of you guys know if Whirlipede has like a mouth or like opens up if they showed anything like that in the anime? Because I don't actually know. How does Whirlipede eat? Is he just like an eyeball and a wheel shape? Whirlipede is such a weird design to me. I love this line, but Whirlipede is such a stinker for this line, I think. It's like so coherent, then it's just like Whirlipede. I'm like, what? I think it's meant to be like uncurling once it gets to Scolipede, but it just doesn't make sense. Where's the mouth on Whirlipede? How does it eat? How does it do anything? It's just a wheel. Whirlipede's design is so weird to me. I don't know what Whirlipede is. He based off like a roly-poly? I don't I don't know. It's meant to be a centipede, but it's like a wheel. It's a wheel with an eyeball in the middle. I don't understand it. It's a weird Pokemon. Here's Whirlipede Deep Snow Form. The abilities stay the same, and for the base stats, I took out 10 from defense and added that 10 to special defense, and then I took out 10 from speed and added that 10 to HP for the stat changes. And everything else is relatively the same. Whirlipede definitely gave me the most trouble while drawing for this video, as circles already are annoying, and Whirlipede's design is just weird in general. But let's move on to Scolipede, which we're all here for. So for Scolipede, I had a hard time coming up with how I wanted to start. I didn't know if I wanted to change his body proportions or keep him on 4 legs, give him more legs, as since he's based off a centipede, he technically could have more than 4 legs. And later I did decide to give him 6 legs, as he is in the snow and more legs is probably better when you're going through snow. And then I also struggled with coming up with the tail. I was trying to figure out how I should do the tail, just leave it like base Scolipede or change it. And later on I decided to put it to like the shovel thing I gave to Venipede, because that made the most sense, as you know, digging snow and to launch stuff off the tail would make sense, as it would be double duty. So I decided to give it 6 legs, and I decided to make those legs look like Whirlipede's little legs, because it's meant to be like uncurling out when it's evolving to Scolipede. So 3 of those sets of whatever they are on Whirlipede became the legs, and 1 set became the antennas, but they like morphed into antennas. So it's like they evolved, but like they're still there, they just changed their function, which I thought was a cool idea. And for the fur, I just went ham with the fur, because this would be a huge creature, so it would need a lot of fur to stay warm. So I thought that was probably the best solution. And I think this guy looks pretty menacing. Like, this is like a great ride Pokemon if you're ever stuck in the snow. Like, nice tall legs to stay above the snow. I don't think it has any innate heating abilities. It's just really good at keeping itself warm, but the fur would probably keep you warm. But the color scheme is pretty much the same as Venipede, but since it has a yellow eye, I decided to give it yellow triangles instead of the purple circles that normal Scolipede has, as it matches the eye that I gave it. And I think that looked pretty good, and it made like a pop of color on an otherwise pretty basic color palette for a ice-type Pokemon. So yeah, I hope you like the Scolipede design. So here's the final design of Scolipede, and I hope you would like it. So I changed the stats, as the stats on Scolipede get a huge jump from Whirlipede. So I took out 20 points from special attack and put 10 points into HP and also 10 points into attack, and then I took 10 points out of speed and put 10 points into special defense. And then I took 10 points out of defense to balance it out. I believe I balanced it pretty well to be a heavy hitter, decent defense, decent bulk, sweeper, which is kind of the whole point with thick fat and speed boost. I really wanted to sweep. And for the attacking moveset for Scolipede, I would use Mega Horn, Swords Dance, Earthquake, Ice Punch, a Jolly Nature, 252 HP EVs, 100 in defense EVs, 100 special defense EVs, 52 attack EVs, speed boost for its ability, and a focus sash. This is for the attacking set, like a sweeper set. And for a support set, I would use Protect, Swords Dance, Substitute, Taunt Pass, a Jolly Nature, 252 HP EVs, 100 defense EVs, 152 special defense EVs, the speed boost ability, and the leftovers as an item. And this would be like the Shid Ninja set, but like not 4 times weak to rocks. So we have Venipede Deep Snow Form, and then we have Whirlipede Deep Snow Form, and then we have Scolipede Deep Snow Form. Now let's put them in evolution order, and bam, we have a whole new regional form for Scolipede. I hope you liked this video. I tried to make this more balanced and something more realistic, because I would have made him an ice fire type, but that's just not realistic for a standard Pokemon. He's not even like a pseudo, he's just like a centipede, so I think that would have been too much and way too good of a typing. So I thought I would go something a little good offensively, decent defenses with a good ability for either thing. So yeah, tell me what you guys think, and if you want to see any other regional forms, comment down the Pokemon and the type you would like to see, and maybe I'll do it. Like and subscribe, Zazels and Zazets. Boom, 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 boom. Charizard sucks. Snorlax sucks. Snorlax has too much defense. Mimikyu, I hate Mimikyu. Those guys messed me up in competitive way too much. Sun and Moon competitive sucks so much for me. Yeah. Gotta catch 'em all.